We're going to jump now into the conversation of the players in the NCAA fighting for a college football season. Players in the SEC, players in the ACC, student athletes in the Big 12 fighting for a college football season. And I have always been an advocate of this. If you want something bad enough, you make it happen. Whether it's in your words, whether it's in your actions, if you want something bad enough, you make it happen. Case in point, during the time that we had the murders, the unfortunate murders of George Floyd and Ahmaud Arbery and Breonna Taylor due to police brutality, racial injustice, things of that nature. When those murders happened, one of the first groups of people that spoke out, that used their social media platforms to have a conversation, to have a dialogue, to invoke change, to really put us in uncomfortable situations to air out this conversation were collegiate and professional athletes. College and pro athletes were the first groups to go to social media and have these conversations and have this dialogue. It's the same thing when you discuss the whole thing with the Confederate emblem on the flag and different monuments and buildings and plaques and possessions that had, racial tension, racial history, racial inequality and injustice. The first groups of people to speak out were these collegiate athletes. Whether it was Kylan Hill, the running back for Mississippi State, saying, "I will not play ball at this program unless this Confederate emblem, this Confederate flag is removed," or whether it was guys at the University of Alabama campus like Chris Owens, Byron Young, who stepped up, who used their platform to speak, and they got, buildings changed. They got monuments, plaques, boulders moved. Athletes have been speaking out about social injustice, about racial issues, about police brutality, for a minute now. They saw it as something that they needed to address. They saw it as something for them to use their platform. They spoke out about it, and they meant business. And now we're in a part where, or we're in a conversation where the Big Ten has decided to cancel its college football season due to the coronavirus pandemic. You've got the Pac-12 that's not that much far behind, and you've got the Big 12, the ACC, and the SEC still trying to fight, still trying to hold on. And for a lot of us that feel like, and I know it's tough. It's a sticky, it's a rough, it's a situation that it's a slippery slope type of situation, because while I understand public health, I understand public safety, I understand we got to protect players, we can't risk players, catching the virus, catching, COVID-19 and risk, things happening with their health, but seeing that the players want to play, that's the big thing. If the players did not want to play, if it was, I don't want to play, I don't need to play, I don't have to play, then it would be a completely different story. It would be a completely different ramification. This would be a completely different deck of cards. But because the players want to play, then this brings me to this topic right here. And it's, we have always said, we're for the players. We have the players' best interest at heart. We're about the players. If the players want to play, and seeing how it's the players that they control kind of this monopoly of college football. When you look at the new buildings going up, the new possessions going up, the infrastructure, the enrollment of students, all things that make up what college football is, it has been brought in, it has been produced, by these players. And while athletic directors, they're important. Chancellors are important. Presidents are important. Coaches are important. All of these things are important. But for you, the college football fan, for you, the Alabama football fan, for you, the consumer of college football, you dictate what's hot and what's not in this sport. And, for you guys, y'all pay y'all hard-earned dime in terms of ticket sales, in terms of buying memorabilia, in terms of getting these high-priced television packages to watch these games. Y'all pay y'all hard-earned dime, not for the coach, not for the AD, not for the president, not for the chancellor. Y'all pay y'all hard-earned dime to see these athletes. Y'all pay y'all hard-earned dime to see little Johnny throw a touchdown pass, to see little Timmy run between the tackles and break for the open for a score, to see Ricky over here, put route concepts on defensive backs and score touchdowns, to see defensive players make plays. The whole NCAA college football video game was for the players. It's the players that's getting the ADs paid, the coaches paid, the presidents paid, the chancellors paid. The players need to have a say in what's going on. If we are caring about the players, don't they deserve that right? Don't they deserve that final say-so in what they want to have in terms of a season? And just getting deeper into the players right here, what a job done by these student athletes. And I know for me, I take pride in covering the University of Alabama football program for Touchdown for TDA, and you guys as Bama fans, y'all take pride in enjoying the information that you get on the program. And I know we like to poke fun at different schools and other schools, and primarily you look at Clemson and the ACC with Dabo Swinney and Trevor Lawrence, but right now, you got to take your cap off to Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence of Clemson has done more for college football in one day than what Mark Emmert and the NCAA has done for quite some time. Trevor Lawrence has done more for college football in one day than what the NCAA has done for quite some time. And you look at Trevor Lawrence, you look at Justin Fields, you look at Kylan Hill. I mean, these are the three guys that have really gotten together and really kicked off this we want to play movement. We want to be on the field. We want to play. We want to have a season. Yes, it's risky to have it, but yes, it's also risky to not have it, just due to when you look at the situations of if you don't have a season, you look at players can catch the virus, anywhere. And, right now, if you're looking at these different collegiate football programs with the sports performance staffs and the athletic training and the team doctors, the football players, the coaches, the trainers, the doctors, these guys are all practicing, the guidelines of being safe. They're all practicing those guidelines. They're all keeping the players up to date. They're all keeping the players in flow. They're all keeping the players in the know. So if they're all keeping the players in the know and the players are keeping themselves in the know, then it's much safer, for those players being on the field, being in the athletic complex, being in the athletic facility, than just be over there roaming out and about. And just a thought right here, when you look at other sports entities that are playing right now, I know the NBA, the MLB, UFC fighting, MMA, golf, NASCAR, all of these other sport venues are different from college football. I get it. They're different from college football. But at the same time, they're playing. They are playing. And for the NBA, people thought Adam Silver was an absolute joke when he decided to take these players and put them in the heart of the coronavirus, in the equator of the virus, right there smack dab in the nucleus of the virus in a bubble in Orlando, Florida. People thought Adam Silver lost his doggone mind. But now it looks like Silver looks like the complete genius because there has not been a positive test within 1 or more months. There's been great action on the court. There's been great entertainment on the court. The players have been safe. The players are continuing to be tested. The players are in full protocol. Then you look at, MLB. Yes, there's been some flare-ups with the Miami Marlins, but the players are still out there. They're still playing. When you look at UFC, a sport where you are paid top dollar to intentionally, deliberately disfigure the face and body of your opponent, they're still out there playing. So if all of these different entities, yes, I get it, it's different from football, but if they're out there playing, if they're out there giving it a go, what is holding college football back is my question. And once again, If the players did not want to play, I can understand that. But because they want to play, they deserve that right. It is un-American to rip this from them, especially when they've worked so hard for it. I mean, it is not even just Lawrence, Kylan Hill, and Justin Fields, but you got a boatload of Alabama players: Mac Jones, Landon Dickerson, Christian Barmore, Christian Harris, Byron Young, Ale Cajo. The list goes on. That there are so many players that are saying, don't take this from us. We deserve this right to get out here, to get on the field. We feel safer on campus. We feel safer in this environment. We feel safer on the field. Our sports performance staffs, our strength and conditioning staffs, our team doctors have put us in a position where we can be safe to play on the field. And I have always been an individual. I've always been one to note this. The two words in the English language that are worse than profanities, that are worse than swear words, that are worse than cuss words, are the words "what if," because that means you did not get it done, but that also means you allowed something to grip you, to turn you, to prevent you from pursuing purpose or prevent you from what you've always wanted to do. There's a risk in everything. There's a risk in playing the sport, absolutely, but there's also a bigger risk in not playing the sport. And I'm going to dive more into that in the second segment of this conversation, but there's a risk either way. But for these players that have seriously been on the grind all summer long, and for the different conferences to say, okay, we're going to have a conference-only schedule, right? A 10-game conference-only schedule. You put the schedules together. You put the teams together. You have all of this put together. And then to go right back around and sort of pull the cover, to pull the bed, to pull the couch, to pull the mattress right from under these individuals after they've worked so hard, and them to fall on their face because you don't want to have it. Completely despicable to me. Completely un-American to me. Once again, if the players were not for it, if they did not want to play, that's one thing. But because they do, their opinions, their thoughts, their notion needs to be taken into consideration, because without the players, there's no college football. Without the players, there's no profitability, there's no entertainment, there's no marketability, there's no fun. It's the players that make the sport what it is. And I feel like if we say we're taking the players' best interest at heart, it's time for us to step up and hear these young men. We're going to take our first break here on the show, but don't touch that dial, just getting started. Upon our return, we get into your phone calls, your thoughts, your tweets, your questions, your concerns. How are you feeling right now about all this that's going on? We'll be back after this.
Every sports fan deserves the proper representation. Whitwell Sports introduces to you the Title Towel. Wave that Title Towel in the air like you just don't care, in support of Nick Saban and the Alabama Crimson Tide. Only $9.99, and it lasts a lifetime. Head on over to whitwellsports.com and get your Title Towel today. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $5.95 per month, or pay $49.95 for a full year subscription. That's a saving of almost $22. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide.
Thank you for watching Touchdown Alabama Magazine's YouTube channel. To continue to get the best in Alabama football content, subscribe here and turn on your notifications to stay connected with the hottest shows covering your Crimson Tide.